हेलो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, कैसे हैं आप लोग। उम्मीद करती हूँ आप सब अच्छे होंगे। पार्ट टू, ग्रो, फ्रॉम द बुक थिंक लाइक अ मॉन्क रिटन बाय जय शेट्टी। चैप्टर 5, पर्पस। द नेचर ऑफ द स्कॉर्पियन। When you protect your dharma protects you. Manusmriti. From the outside, being a monk look like a fundamentally about letting go, the baldness, the robes, stripping away distractions. In fact, the asceticism was less a goal than it was a means to an end. Letting go opened our minds. We spent our days in service, which was also designed to expand our minds. In the course of the service, we weren't supposed to gravitate to our favorite ways to serve, but rather to help out whenever, wherever, and however it was needed. To experience and emphasize our willingness and flexibility, we rotated through various chores and activities instead of choosing roles and becoming specialists. Cooking, cleaning, gardening, caring for the cows, meditating, studying, praying, teaching, and so on. It took some work for me to truly see all activities as equal. I much prefer to study that than to clean up after the cows, but we were told to see society as the organs of a body. No one organ was more important than another. All of them worked in concert, and the body needed them all. In spite of this equitable coexistence, it became clear that each of us had natural affinities. One might be drawn to tending the animals, not me. Another might take pleasure in cooking, again not me. I am an eat to live kind of guy. Another might get great satisfaction from gardening. We undertook such a breadth of activities that although we didn't indulge our particular passions, we could observe and reflect on where they lay. We could experiment with new skills, study them, see how improving them made us feel. What did we like? What felt natural and fulfilling? Why? If something like cleaning up after the cows made me uncomfortable, instead of turning away, I pushed myself to understand the feelings that lay at the root of my discomfort. I quickly identified my hatred for some of the most mundane chores as an ego issue. I thought them a waste of time when I could be learning. Once I admitted this to myself, I could explore whether cleaning had anything to offer me. Could I learn from a mop? Practice Sanskrit words while planting potatoes. In the course of my chores, I observed that mop heads need to be completely flexible in order to get into every space of and corner. Not every task is best served by something sturdy like a broom. To my monk mind, there was a worthwhile lesson in that we need flexibility in order to access every corner of study and growth. When it came to planting potatoes, I found that the rhythm of it helped me remember words, while the words brought excitement to the potatoes. Exploring our strengths and weaknesses in the self contained universe of the ashram helped lead each of us to our dharma. Dharma, like many Sanskrit terms, can't be defined by a single English word, though to say something is your calling comes close. My definition of dharma is an effort to make it practical to our lives today. I see dharma as the combination of varna and seva. Think of varna, also a word with complex meanings as position and passion and skills. Seva is understanding the world's needs and selflessly serving others. When your natural talents and passions, when your natural talents and passions, your varna, connect with that the universe needs, seva, and become your purpose, you are living in your dharma. When you spend your time and energy living in your dharma, You have the satisfaction of using your best abilities and doing something that matters to the world, living in your dharma in a certain route to fulfillment is a certain route to fulfillment. In the first part of this book, we talked about becoming aware of and letting go of the influences and distractions that divert us from a fulfilling life. Now, we will rebuild our lives around our guiding values and deepest intentions. This growth begins with dharma. Two monks were washing their feet in a river when one of them realized that a scorpion was drowning in the water. He immediately picked it up and set it upon the bank. Though he was quick, the scorpion stung his hand. He resumed washing his feet. The other monk said, "Hey, look, that foolish scorpion fell right back in." The first monk leaned over, saved the scorpion again, and was again stung. The other monk asked him, "Brother, why do you rescue the scorpion when you know its nature is to sting?" "Because," the monk answered, "to save it, it is my nature." The monk is modeling humility. He does not value his own pain above the scorpion's life. But the more relevant lesson here is that to save is to essential to the monk's nature, that he is compelled and content to do it when knowing the scorpion will sting him. The monk has so much faith in his dharma that he is willing to suffer in order to fulfill it. Discovering dharma. It is my first summer at the ashram. I have cleaned bathrooms, cooked potato curry, harvested cabbages. I have washed my own clothes by hand, which is not an easy chore. Our robes have as much material as bedsheets, and to scrub out food or grass stains will have qualified as a CrossFit workout of the day. One day I am scrubbing pots with the gusto of an overager apprentice when a senior monk comes up to me. Overeager apprentice. When a senior monk comes up to me, "We would like you to lead a class this week," he says. The topic is in this verse from the Gita. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. I agree to do it, and as I return to scrubbing, I think about what I will say. I understand the basic gist of the scripture. We teach by example. It taps into my understanding that who you are is not what you say and how you behave. And it reminds me of a quote often attributed to Saint Francis of Assisi: "Preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words." Many of the other monks like me didn't enter the ashram at age 5. At age 5. They have been to mainstream schools, had girlfriends and boyfriends, watched TV and movies. They won't have trouble grasping the meaning of the verse. But I am excited to figure out how I can make it feel fresh and relevant to their experiences outside the ashram. The aging computers in our library have an excruciatingly slow internet connection. I am in India in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere. Now here or nowhere. And it seems like every image takes an hour to download. I am in India in the middle of now here. And it seems like every image takes an hour to download. After having done research on the speedy computers of a college library, I find the wait painful. But I know that over in the kitchen, my fellow monks are patiently waiting for water to boil. As they are doing, I try to respect the process. During my research, I become fascinated by the psychology of communication. I find studies by Albert Mehrabian showing that 55% of our communication is conveyed by body language. 38% is tone of voice, and a mere 7% is the actual words we speak. That's a general guideline, but even in situations where those percentages shift, the fact remains that most of our communication is non-verbal. I lose myself in exploring how we convey our messages and values, analyzing the communication styles of various leaders, and figuring out how it all adds up to be relevant in our lives. Among others, I read about Jane Goodall, who never intended to become a leader. She first entered the wilds of Tanzania to study chimpanzees in 1960, but her research and ongoing work have significantly redefined conservation, attracted women to her field, and inspired hundreds of thousands of young people to get involved in conservation. Our class gathers in a medium-sized school room. Our class gathers in a medium-sized room. I take my place on an elevated cushioned seat, and the students sit on cushions in front of me. I don't see myself as above them in any way, except for my elevated seat. We monks have already learned that everyone is always simultaneously a student and a teacher. When I finished giving a talk, I am pleased with how it's gone. I enjoyed sharing the ideas as much as I enjoyed researching them. People thank me, telling me that they appreciated the examples and how I made the ancient verse feel relevant. One or two asked me how I prepared. They have noticed how much work I put into it. As I bask in the glow of my satisfaction and the appreciation, I am beginning to realize my dharma, studying, experimenting with knowledge and speaking. Everyone has a psychological nature which determines where they flourish and thrive. Dharma is using this natural inclination, the things you are good at, your thrive mode to serve others. You should feel passion when the process is pleasing and your execution is skillful, and the response from others should be positive, showing that your passion has a purpose. This is the magic formula for dharma. Passion plus expertise plus usefulness is equals to dharma. If we are only excited when people say nice things about our work, it's a sign that we are not passionate about the work itself. And if we indulge our interest and skills but nobody responds to them, then our passion is without purpose. If either piece is missing, we are not living our dharma. When people fantasize about what they want to do and who they want to be, they don't often investigate fully enough to know if it suits their dharma. People think they want to be in finance because they know it's lucrative, or they want to be a doctor because it's respected and honorable, but they move forward with no idea whether those professions suit them, if they will like the process, the environment, and energy of the work, or whether they are any good at it. Think like a monk. Compassion, service, seva, usefulness, occupation, dharma, charity, talent, varna, passion, skill. Everything you are. There are two lies some of us hear when we are growing up. The first is you will never amount to anything. The second is you can be anything you want to be. The truth is you can't be anything you want, but you can be everything you are. A monk is a traveler, but the journey is inward, bringing us ever closer to our most authentic, confident, powerful self. There is no need to embark on an actual year in Provence type quest to find your passion and purpose, as if it's a treasure buried in some distant land, waiting to be discovered. Your dharma is already with you. It's always been with you. It's woven into your being. If we keep our minds open and curious, our dharmas announce themselves. Even so, it can take years of exploration to uncover our dharma. One of our biggest challenges in today's world is the pressure to perform big right now. Thanks to the early successes of folks like Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and Snapchat co founder Evan Spiegel, who became the youngest billionaire in the world at age 24, along with celebs such as Chance the Rapper and Bella Hadid. Many of us feel that if we haven't found our calling and risen to the top in our fields in our 20s, we have failed. Putting all of this pressure on people to achieve early is not only stressful, it can actually hinder success. According to Forbes magazine publisher Rich Karlgaard in his book Late Bloomers, the majority of us don't hit our stride quite so early, but society's focus on academic testing, getting into the right colleges, and developing and selling an app for millions before you even get your degree. If you don't drop out to run your multi-million dollar company, is causing high levels of anxiety and depression, not only among those who haven't conquered the world by age 24, but even among those who have already made a significant mark. Many early achievers feel tremendous pressure to maintain that level of performance. But Karlgaard points out there are plenty of fantastically successful people who hit their studies strides in later in life. The Bluest Eye, Toni Morrison's first novel, wasn't published until she was 39, and after a 10-year stint in college and time spent working as a sky instructor, Dietrich Mateschitz was 40 before he created blockbuster energy drink company Red Bull. Pay attention, cultivate self awareness, feed your strengths, and you will find your way. And once you discover your dharma, pursue it. बाय फॉर नाउ दोस्तों, मिलेंगे हम नेक्स्ट वीडियो में अदर पीपल्स धर्मा. बाय फ्रेंड्स.